OCOB students, registration is right around the corner, and as advisors who are students ourselves, we know that registration can often be a confusing, frustrating time. But it doesn't have to be. With the right strategy and preparation, registration can actually be a really smooth process. So with that being said, in this video, we want to share with you some tips and strategies for making your registration period as smooth as possible. The first thing you're going to want to figure out is what classes you're actually registering for. This first step can be tricky if you don't know where to start or what you're looking for. The best place to start is going to be your degree progress report, or DPR. This is essentially a list of all the classes you need to take in order to earn your degree in your major from Cal Poly, and it shows what classes you've already taken and which ones you still need to take. There's actually a really handy button at the top of the DPR here that you can click to hide satisfied requirements. So when that's checked, you will only see the classes you still need to take. So go through this list and take stock of what classes you have not yet taken. Once you've checked over this list, you may be wondering what order you should actually be taking these classes in, or more importantly, which ones you should be taking next quarter. This is largely going to depend on the classes themselves and if they have any prerequisites. When planning and registering for classes, you want to make sure you're allowing yourself enough time to work through all of the prerequisites for your classes. If you're not sure if your classes have prerequisites, this is where you can rely on resources like your flowchart or catalog, which you can find at flowcharts.calpoly.edu. Just as a quick example, we'll look at the finance curriculum. We can see here that the Biz 438 has a prerequisite of Biz 431 and Biz 439. But both of those classes have their own prerequisites. Biz 439 requires Biz 342 and 391, and Biz 341 requires Biz 342 and Biz 391 and Stat 324 or Econ 339. A mouthful of classes. So looking at this visually, you can see that to complete those 3 non-elective classes in the concentration, you need to start planning and taking courses at least 4 quarters in advance. And if you're ever confused about where to start, or even if you just want some confirmation that you're on the right track with planning your courses, we encourage you to drop into the PA office to get your schedule checked over by a peer advisor.
Them, you're going to want to build a few potential schedules for your next quarter. And this is our first tip. We highly recommend making at least more than one schedule. Ideally, you would make maybe around 3. This doesn't mean that each schedule has to be all different classes. You can have some repeats in there, but having at least 3 different schedules allows you to kind of filter through at least 3 new classes and account for the possibility that you maybe don't get into at least 3 of your first choice classes. Luckily, this is super easy to do with Schedule Builder. So what you want to do is load up all of the classes that you could be potentially interested in taking, including your first, second, and third choice classes. So that should be anywhere from 5 to 9 classes, depending on the quarter you're looking at and how much of a workload you're looking at. And you want to use the Schedule Builder function to find a couple different options that work for you. If you're not comfortable navigating the Schedule Builder page, you can, again, always come into the peer advising office, and one of our friendly peer advisors would be more than happy to help you walk through it. Or if you don't have time to drop in, there's a handy page on the Office of the Registrar's website with some super cool videos that kind of walk you through how to navigate the site. You can find these videos by simply searching Cal Poly Office of the Registrar Schedule Builder demos in a search engine like Google. So our next tip for you is actually also within Schedule Builder, and that's the validate function. So when you go to add the classes to your registration shopping cart, there should be a little button at the bottom of the screen after you select all your classes that says validate. You're going to want to click on this because what this essentially does is it's a pre-check to your enrollment. So if all of the classes show a little green arrow or green check mark rather next to it, it means that you shouldn't have any issues when you're registering for the classes, meaning that you fulfill all of the prerequisites for the classes you're trying to enroll in, and there's no holds on your account actually preventing you from registering. The next tip we have for you is the waitlist if classes full button. So you want to make sure that you're selecting this button. So when you're selecting each class individually to add to your shopping cart, or rather, when you go to enroll them, there should be a little checkbox option to opt into the waitlist if the class is full when you go to register. This is important because at your registration time, seats can fill up within seconds. So if there are only a few seats left in a class that you want, and they're filled up by other students who maybe have your same registration time, this will ensure that you are one of the first people on the wait list and increase your chances of getting into that class. This is also the same area where you will find the opportunity to enter a permission number if you have one for a course. And that is the bulk of planning that goes into registration. So we have just a few more miscellaneous tips to keep you ready for your next registration appointment. The first is registering through your shopping cart itself and not directly through Schedule Builder. So what you're going to do is load up all of your classes into your cart, and this will allow you to select and deselect courses quickly and with ease. This way, if you don't end up getting into one or two of the classes you had as your first picks, you can quickly select two of your alternative choices instead and register instead of having to navigate through your favorited schedules, finding the schedule with your second day classes, and clicking through all the menus that come with the schedule.
Second, we recommend rechecking the availability of seats the night before, or even better, the hour before your registration time. It's possible that the classes will fill up within a day or even hours before your registration time. Checking in on the seats an hour before you register allows you to make any necessary edits to your registration plan. And finally, we cannot stress this enough, the importance of being ready to enroll at your registration time. Ideally, you'd find a location with good Wi-Fi, set up your computer, and get your classes up so the only button you have to click when the clock hits your registration time is the actual enroll button. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Good luck with registration.